Hi, my name is Terry. I've lost 170 pounds with keto, carnivore, and ketovore. Shepherd's pie here. And we are going to saute some onions. We're going to saute it in ghee. Don't hate on my skillet. This poor thing has been through heck and back with me. I've had it for 100 years. And she's been good to me. So I'm going to let that melt and I'll get back to you. I want to get the skillet good and hot. Alright, so I feel like this is good enough. I'm making two different things today. So both of them require sauteed onions. So I'm going to saute, this is a whole package of onions. So what I'm doing, as I find out how much everything weighs, I'm plugging it on this recipe that I typed up. Because I'm just winging it. I have no idea, like, the amounts. I could have looked at the website and at his show notes, but I did not. So these are frozen onions that I put in the, I put in a little colander and ran under hot water. So now what I'm doing, let me just get my recipe. Saute onion in ghee until almost brown. Add mushroom and saute until all the water is out of the mushrooms and onions, then set aside. So when the onions are almost brown, I'm going to pull half of them out and then I'll add in the mushrooms. So right now I'm working on the onions until they caramelize lightly. He says, you do it slowly so they don't burn. He's French, and I'm going to say he the whole time because I got this recipe from that website, and I'll link it below, or his YouTube channel, and so I don't want to, I want to give credit where credit's due. Oh, he uses ghee. That's what I was trying to say. He uses ghee instead of butter because you're sauteing it, and if you use butter, it will burn. Not burn, but burn. He's a big user of butter. Now he's a big user of carbs, but he's a big user of butter. So anyway, so I'm gonna keep going until these get almost sauteed, and then I'll pull half of them out for the next thing I'm gonna make after the shepherd's pie. I'm trying to focus one thing at a time. Shepherd's pie. Ingredients for shepherd's pie: rutabaga, ghee. I'm using glucomannan, red wine, onion, mushroom, tomato paste or puree, rosemary, thyme, Worcestershire. I saw a TikTok about how to say it. Worcestershire sauce. Garlic, parsley, carrots, peas, beef stock, and cheese. Yes, I'm using carrots and peas. Am I afraid that the carbs are going to derail me? No. I'm going to try it, and it's something fun, so I'm not going to stress about it. Because I'm not going to be using, 5 cups. Anyway, so, oh, and cheese. Wait, did I get down? Beef stock and cheese. So, yeah. So, I'll copy all this into the show notes. Listen to me, I sound all like I know what I'm talking about. Down in the description of the video is where I'll have this recipe. And as I'm doing it, I will write the amounts of what I use, so then that way I know what to tell you. So, do I have beef on here? Terry, I didn't put beef on here. I'll put that on here too. Okay, I feel like it's lightly caramelized. So I'm taking half out. I'm using a paper plate because it's meal prep day. There's already going to be plenty of dishes. I can just set this right off to the side and it'll behave until I'm ready to use it. So now I'm going to add in the mushrooms. Hold up. Now, because I am not somebody who wants to buy a bunch of fresh produce and have it go to waste, I bought frozen onions and frozen mushrooms so I could pull out what I want, and it can go right back in the freezer until I am ready to use it again. Because, again, I'm all about not wasting. So I ran it through a colander to help defrost it under hot water. So now I'm going to saute both of these until all the water has come out of the mushrooms and evaporated from the skillet. Okay, I feel like I got as much liquid out as I can. So now I have to set this aside. Well, again, I don't want to dirty up something else. So this is the pan I'm going to use when I make the rancher's pie. So I'm just going to house this in here because that's just how I roll. I can pull it out later because I have to use it later. So now we cook the ground beef. For the sake of calories, I am using 93% ground beef. This is 2 1/4 pounds, or no, yeah, 2 1/4 pounds. I don't know if this is going to be, how much it's going to be in the end that I'll use, but you can never have too much cooked ground beef. So I'm going to cook it, and I'll show you after I get it cooked. I mean, you know how to cook ground beef in a skillet, hopefully. If not, send me a message and I'll teach you. For the record, I have an audience. Right? Almost where I need to be, but not quite. Thankfully, I can step over him. Anyway, so I got 2 right there. And 1. Let's see if I can zoom in. Don't look at my table. It's a mess. Who's that one? I think that's Lou. So, yeah. Alright, so back to the food. I'm working on my ground beef. I did add a little bit of water to kind of help it spread the heat out. So my ground beef is all the way brown. But now what I'm going to do is keep it on low until all of the liquid has cooked out of it. And then I want it to get a nice, kind of almost like seared texture. The rutabaga is done boiling, so I've turned it off. And I'm just going to let it sit there for a little bit. No, I lied. I'm going to drain it and put it in, and I'm going to mash it. So while this is letting the liquid evaporate, we'll switch over to the rutabaga. So I'm going to pour the rutabaga into my strainer. Hopefully. Ooh, that's smoky, steamy, whatever the word is. Yeah. I'm going to rinse it a little bit with some cold water. These are definitely fork tender. So I'm going to shake them and just kind of let them sit here and cool a little bit. And then I'll mash them up in a little bit. Not quite ready to do the mashing yet. Now I'm going to take my masher. We're going to see how she does. I'll give it a coarse, rough chop. I'm not making soup, so I don't need it to be all like pure liquefied. And I know if I used it would like just whip it up and make a big mess. So for the moment, I'm just going to use this. So I'm going to keep doing this, and I'll show you when I get done with this stage. Try to zoom in here. I mashed it with the masher, and now this is the texture. It's pretty smooth. I didn't do it all that long, and maybe just like a minute longer, and it's really pretty smooth. I'm going to add a little bit of butter. I just got to track down some butter, so hang on. I pulled the onion mushrooms out of here because I want to use half of this for something else. So I'm going to see, and I need to know a measurement amount. And since this is the pan or the dish I'm going to use, I want to get a good weight of how much is in here. So I'll pull it back out to put it back in there, but all right, let's just do an even, let's see. Oh, I think a little more than that. We'll do an even 1,200. Almost. All right, so I'm going to do 1,200 grams of rutabaga. 1,200 grams. All right, so I'll move this elsewhere, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that. So I'm going to put all of that into a bag to use as a piping bag, just to make it look nice. So I'm going to finish putting this in the bag. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot to add my ghee. Tear. All right, hold on, let me just zero this out. I didn't have any butter, so we're going to add a tablespoon of ghee, which is 15 grams. All right, that's a hair more, but I'll plug it in. 20 grams of ghee plus the 2 tablespoons earlier, plus 20 grams. All right, so now let me go on and I'm going to mix this ghee up into here, make it good. I've tasted, I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Not a lot, but just a little. I'm still stirring in that piece of ghee. I keep finding it every now and then whenever I do a turn. Like, oh, there it is, there it is. Yeah. Take a taste. Yep, that's good. So now, I'm going to put this in this Ziploc bag and use it as a piping bag. I actually ordered me a potato ricer today, which doesn't help me today, but next time I'll try it. All right, I'll finish putting this in here. Whoop, stay there, fella. Okay, so we've got the ground beef where I want it, and now it says to add rosemary, thyme, and he used flour, but instead I'm going to use glucomannan. So I don't know how much. I'm gonna use some rosemary. I put everything in here so I know what all I need to use. Then thyme. Okay. Rosemary, thyme, and glucomannan. I'm going to add about that much. I don't know, probably a teaspoon. I'll say that. Glucomannan, where are you? Glucomannan, 1 teaspoon. And red wine. Well, hey, do I have any red wine? Okay, instead of adding the red wine, I've got marsala, so I'm going to use this up. I don't know how much this is. Let me weigh it now, and then I'll weigh it after. Let's do it this way. Let's see how much it is. Put this on grams. Okay. 50 grams. He might have used a little more, I don't know. But he was using 2 pounds of ground beef, so 50 grams. So let me write that right quick. $50 marsala. Okay. After red wine evaporates and very liquid in the skillet, I'll add garlic, peas and carrots, and tomato paste. So it's already evaporated, but so I need to get my peas and carrots out, and I'll measure. Let me weigh those. All right, peas and carrots. Okay, peas and carrots, I'm going to do about the same amount as it looks like I have of the onion and mushrooms. I don't know how much that is, but let's see. 150 grams, maybe a little bit more. Oh, let's do an even 200, because you know I like that number. All right. 200 grams of peas and carrots. Get those stirred in, and I'll get right back with you. So I have a homemade beef broth. It says no dogs, onion. So that means it had some onions in there. So that means I can't share it with the dogs. It's actually a pretty gelatinous. So I'll do that. It's probably about a cup. That, and then some tomato paste. So let me see how he'd used a puree. So I don't know. I'm going to do it till my heart feels good. Let me zero it out. So that's only 16 grams. And how much is a serving? 33 grams. $34 grams, close enough. All right. There's my pen. So 34 grams of the paste. Now I'm going to work on this and saute this until all the liquid is evaporated and the carrots are cooked fully. So I'm going to let this cook. It's probably going to simmer a good 10-15 minutes till everything all kind of melds together. I'll do a lot of stirring, and I'll set my timer for 15 minutes and I'll come back then. Yeah, I'll come back in 15 minutes and see where it's at. I just take a taste of the beef. I'm going to add some more ground thyme and a little more rosemary. Now I don't think I've added salt yet. When does he say to add salt? I don't know. I'm going to add it right now because I want it to be mixed in with it. I'll add, of course, some salt, and then you know where I put salt, I gotta put no salt. Okay, so now I'm gonna stir it up. Let's give it a taste before I go away. I've got my timer still going. It's on 13 minutes, but all right. Wait a minute. I'm gonna make sure I get it all coated real well. Alright, so now let's pull up a piece and just taste it. Yep. Alright, so now I'm going to let this simmer until the potatoes or peas and carrots are done. Okay, we're 2 minutes shy of 15 minutes. It's getting pretty dry, so I want to... Ow! Hold on. I should keep a clean spoon. Of course, I say ow, and then I'm about to take it up and put it in my mouth. Yep, that's good. Worcestershire sauce. No. Worcestershire sauce and mushroom and onion mixture. So, Worcestershire. It was a TikTok of a lady from over there on that side of the world. I don't know, somewhere not in USA. Now we got the onion and mushrooms. Now we'll get the Worcestershire sauce in here. I don't know how much. Is there a bunch of carbs in it? 1 carbs in 5 mils. Well, poop. Hold up. Alright. I'm going to do it till it feels right and then see how much I took out. 26 carbs. Or 26 grams. Worcestershire. 26 grams. But this is multiple servings, so. Alright, let me set this back in the refrigerator. Maybe. Where's it going? Here we go. Found a spot. So get that all mixed in there. This may not be a keto version. It might just be a low carb version, but that's all right. We're trying it. We could leave the peas and carrots off next time, and that's okay too. But I want it to be semi-authentic. All right. Now, let's see what's next. Simmer till heated throughout. Meat mixture should remain thick and dry. Yeah, but when do I add the... I forgot, where's the garlic? Oh, I'm supposed to add the garlic with the peas and carrots. And the tomato. That's okay, I'll add it now. Alright, so... 1... 15 grams of garlic. And then parsley. I'm going to add some parsley to it to make it prettyful. I take the dealy off my parsley because that gum, it's hard to get it to come out. Alright. Now, I think this is going to be just... I'm going to turn off the heat because... Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And once I get it all plugged in, I'll know how many servings I need to have for calorie and carb and all that good stuff. But I just had no idea how much the ingredients in the first place. So that's kind of how I do a recipe if I'm going to make something. Now, let's get a clean spoon because I'll be taking this to work and letting my coworkers taste it. So I don't want to keep dipping a spoon in. That's not nice. That's how you spread the COVID. But I'm over the COVID now. I don't have to wear a mask and stuff anymore. Let's just see how good or bad this is. Oh, yeah. That Chef Jean-Pierre knows what he's talking about. Okay, so making sure we marked everything. Parsley, just love with your heart. Cheese, now we're going to have to measure the cheese, but we got to move across the room. So, I'll be back. So let me tell you what I did. I added the onions, not the onions and mushrooms. The onions that I was going to use on my roasted potatoes later. Well, I'll use onions and mushrooms on my roasted potatoes later. It'll be good. So I'm scratching off mushroom because there's no mushrooms in there. Now let's move over. Cheese is part of this recipe, so I'm going to do 3 servings of cheese for the time being. Alexa, what's 28 times 3? Alexa, volume up 4. Alexa, 28 times 3.
28 times 3 is 84.
Oh, Alexa, volume down times 4. So, sorry if you all are listening to Alexa. Sorry if I got your Alexa going. But I can't math. We all know this. We all know it, and that's just the way it is in my world. So I'll put this back in the freezer. Now the other thing I use is Parmesan cheese. And again, I'll do 3 servings. Parm, 3 servings. So that is 5, 10, 15. Hey, I can do that kind of math. 15 grams. I can do my 5s. Hang on, one of the dogs is barking. Okay, now that we got our amounts all figured out, what he did was he piped it using a piping bag. So I got a Ziploc bag, and I'm going to do that. Of course, he did his fancy. I don't need to do mine fancy, but I'm doing it, so that's what it is. And that hole is way too big. That's kind of funny, but that's all right. Now he did a thin layer on the bottom. I think mine is a little bit not a very nice, I did not do a very good cut. It's a double cut. That's kind of funny. That's all right. All right. So, let me spread that around. Oh my, no. All right, let's try that. So he does a layer of rutabaga, or layer of mashed whatever. I'm doing rutabaga. So a layer of mash, a light layer of cheddar cheese. I used, I think this is a 3 cheese blend of some sort. So I'll do a light layer of cheese. Then I'm going to do a little bit, just a pinch of Parmesan. Now, if they just go out there and bark again, I'm going to whistle again, and they're not getting no treats. Okay, then comes, I'm going to use this to mark it. Then comes the meat mixture. Terry. If it was just me, I'd just pick this right up and put it in there. But it's not going to be just me, and can't do that to my coworkers. That would not be the right thing to do. Not as if they're watching, so they'd never know, but I would feel a little bit guilty. Notice I said a little. Yeah. A lot, but a little. Now, let's get that on there. So the reason why I went with the lean ground beef is there's going to be a lot of calories from a lot of things. So between the cheese and the ghee, I wanted to have the calories as low as I could. Carbs are going to be crazy for how I usually do my thing, but that's all right. And when I get it all done, I'll tell you, like while it's baking, I won't be talking to y'all, and I'll sit down and plug it all into my app, and I can see how many servings it needs to be, because I'm more concerned about the calories than the amount of carbs. Okay, so next, rutabaga, then cheese, then Parmesan. So now comes the rest of the rutabaga. Okay, so I didn't need to do this, and that's okay. You know, we learn together. I didn't have to do this, but it has a little bit of control. You know. Now, I don't want the meat mixture to mess up the pretty of the top layer. And meat mixture is what's on this spoon. So I'm going to get a different spoon. Here, I'll use this. Because I want it to look nice. Of course, the fact that it's slotted doesn't help a whole lot, but it's getting there, it's getting there. I'm going to fill in all the holes. Darn Flabbit, she's out there. It's probably a squirrel or something that she's telling off. The oven just dinged, so it'll be at 350. Look how smooth those rutabaga, the mashed rutabaga is. It's a smooth and pretty. Come on, fill that hole. All right, now. Okay. From there, we will do the cheese and then the Parmesan. Okay, there's our cheese, and now let's do the parm. And he bakes it at 350 for 30 minutes. He said, or if you put it together and you don't bake it right now and you bake it later, you bake it till it has an internal temperature of 155 because it is all cooked. You know, it's just a matter of heating it up. And he's like, any higher than that and you'll just burn your mouth. So, all right, into the oven for 30 minutes and then I'll be back with, hopefully I'll have all this stuff figured out. All the amounts and calories and all that good stuff. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so when it comes out, 1/4 of it will be 674 calories, 53 protein, 30 net carbs, 31 fat, and 1.9 alcohol. Usually the 73%, and we'll say Normandy blend, is 730 calories, 36 protein, 5.9 net carbs, and 60 fat. So it is half the fat, but that's because we use lean ground beef. The carbs, of course, are sky high, so that's 6 times the net carbs. Protein, it's not quite doubled, so it's like 2/3 higher, and the calories are a little lower. So it's gonna make 4 servings. And yeah, so that's how I'm gonna divide it up. So on those 4 days, we're gonna see my carbs higher. But again, it's vegetables, and that's not what made me obese to begin with. So I'll show you that when it's done, when I'll divide it up into 4, and then after that's done, I can get on to the next thing. It's been in there for 30 minutes. I'm going to crank it up to 400 so I can brown the cheese a little bit. So I'll do it for 400 for maybe 5 minutes. Here we go. There is our Rutabaga Ranchers Pie. Now, you know if I do anything with this, it's going to burn. And Chef Jean-Pierre says you need to let it cool before you cut it. Otherwise, the potatoes, which in our case, rutabaga, will be soft and everything. So I'm just going to let this sit and chill out. And then I'm going to work on something else. And then I'll come back and add this. So we're going to let it sit and cool. All right, let's cut it up into 4. How many of you are surprised I didn't pull out like a ruler? I am. I'm quite surprised. I need some containers. Unless I have any. Nope. Pause. I need containers. Okay. First one is never very pretty. I'll leave all that in there. Look. Doesn't that look nice? It's still steaming and stuff. Doesn't that look pretty? So let's take a bite. Hold on. Okay, let's try it now. I'm gonna get a bite of the rutabaga. And ooh, that's still steaming. I'm gonna wait just one more minute. Maybe not. All right. That's good. I think I better have another bite. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Shepherd's pie. Right there, y'all. Yum. It's good. Okay. Bye. Next thing.